So something I want to add is the kind of effect of these trails kind of fading out, right? So we've got the initial explosion there, and then as they, about this point, I want them to start fading out and, emitting less smoke, and the flame being less bright, all of these things together. So to do that, we can just animate this scale value I'll just do it on all of these actually. Okay, so I'm just going to copy, I'll animate it here actually. So I want to go from frame 70. Okay, come in here and then just alt click on the scale value there, and then come forward to about here. Well, you can still see a couple of them there. Be nice to see them fading out to about there. Set it to 0. Alt click on that. Okay, and then once you see the value, right click, copy parameter, and then paste relative reference on all of the others actually. On velocity, so paste relative reference there, the flame, paste relative reference, and temperature, paste relative reference. Perfect. Okay, so we should see that kind of dies down towards the end here. You can see that they're really faded out and kind of getting weak towards the end there. Okay, so let's go back to the start and jump back, go back into my camera and back into the sim and start working on this. So back into the solver itself. We need to take a look at the temperature, right? So if you remember, this is kind of like how hot is the flame, is the area of flame, right? The temperature. So what's a value of 1 in a temperature? What is that in real world terms? And for us, it's something that's on fire, so we want it to be really hot. So I'm going to set it to 3000, and then that generally, you're going to want to match that or something similar in your visualization. So we want to have, so we could just set a reference up between these. I'm not going to be changing these again, but it's a good idea to do this in case you do, right? So for the visualization, come here to the reference temp, paste relative reference there. Okay, so that's 3000, and the ambient temp, copy that and paste it in here. Where are you? Paste relative references. There we go. Great. What else? Timescale, viscosity, want any of that? Flame. So we're already emitting smoke. We can change the merge method. Maybe add would be better. I want a lot of smoke. Even if there's more than what I'm trying to put in, I want it to be piled on top, right? And then temperature, that's all fine. Shape, I don't want, well, we might do the dissipation outside. Let's just turn on the shredding here. And push that up to 1. So if you remember shredding, from the previous lesson, that'll give us some nice kind of flame shapes, right? Gives you some interesting values. You can play around with these. I'm just going to leave them at default for now. Let's take a look at that really quick. Still pretty low res for the moment. Let me just go back into this visualization. So this multi-field density, let's push that up a bit so we can see it a bit better. There we go. Also emission, let's get that stronger. I should brighten up. There we go. So we're seeing the kind of spikes there now of heat. So that's looking great. Let me go back. Let's try, I'm going to push this down to 0.03. And let's do it. We need more sub steps. I can still see some stepping there. Okay, let's do a flipbook from here and see where we are now. Get the better lighting on. Let me just see a couple of frames. Okay, it's going pretty slow. So I'm going to raise the particle separation. Let's do 045 just for now. I think 3 will be good enough for the final. Don't want to do from 25, I want to do this from 53. Let's take a look at that. Right, so I've just stopped that on I've got 81 frames there. But yeah, it's looking good now. As you can see, as the later we move on, we start to get these typical kind of pyro-y looking, bumps and lumps. Definitely we'll look into breaking that up with some disturbance and turbulence, and a little bit of dissipation as well. I also like how they're kind of fading out. So we animated that from about frame 70, I think. So not only that will dampen it down, but also just the fact that, if you remember at the beginning, these shapes are much longer, purely because the velocity is higher, so they move more in one frame. And then the slower they get, the smaller this gets, and the dimmer the flame, which is cool. We get some nice kind of shapes to it as well. But cool. So next we'll look at adding microsolvers to break up these kind of funny bumps.